Nestled along the coast of Fox Basin in Nunavut, Canada, lies the small hamlet of Igloolik. It is comprised of just under 1,500 people, almost all of whom are of direct Inuit lineage, and is the base for Asuma, Canada's first Inuit production company. Since its foundation in 1990, Asuma has produced media promoting and preserving aspects of Inuit ways of life, which it has then broadcasted both nationwide and internationally. In recent years, Asuma has made powerful strides in counteracting a particularly pressing issue that continues to have devastating effects on the Inuit community. Suicide has historically been an unfortunate necessity in certain Inuit communities. In Igloolik in particular, European explorers of the early 20th century recount tales of elderly people who hung themselves or asked for assistance in being killed. The reason for this is twofold: to become less of a burden to a community surviving in harsh conditions, guided by the belief that only through violent death was one's soul able to reach true purity in the afterlife. However, the trends of today show that this is no longer the case. While suicide used to be an action of the old and ill, since the 1960s, the rate of suicides have not only increased dramatically, but 2/3 of its victims have been young men under the age of 25. 2011 in particular saw a record number of these suicides, suggesting that there is much work to be done in evaluating the causes and issues leading young men to take their own lives. In Igloolik, it was found that 68% of suicides from year to year were precipitated by romantic relationship problems and breakups. The root cause, however, is intricately tied to these young men and their familial and community relationships as a whole. They are the sons of parents who were largely affected by the Canadian government's role in fracturing Inuit communities, particularly during the 50s and 60s. During this time, Igloolik children were separated from their families and culture through forced relocations, residential boarding schools, and a severe tuberculosis epidemic. Due to this, many in this cohort cite that they did not learn proper parenting skills or cultural traditions and have since picked up destructive vices such as alcohol and drugs. These hardships contribute to poor relations between generations, which, compounded by a disconnect with traditional Inuit culture, have pushed teenagers to their peers for a sense of belonging. Boys in particular start highly emotionally charged relationships with girls in these groups, and when things go south, they are left feeling abandoned. Unlike girls who usually have other girls to talk to about their problems with, the only emotional outlet these boys often have is their girlfriends. With feelings of rejection and instability caused by both family and friends, many young men feel lost enough to take their own lives. Suicide becomes a final means of communicating these feelings of anger, revenge, and sorrow. The presence of Asuma has done much to stem suicides in Igloolik, however. By providing media production jobs, young men can become intimately connected and invested in the community, interact with all generations in the town, learn about their heritage, and feel productive. By giving a voice and sense of purpose to those who feel like they have none, Igloolik proves that the issues of suicide are not an individual problem, but one that concerns the entire community.